Hi guys, this is Spartan765. Today I'm doing a video on G3 trigger shells. Uh, this is how to, well, it's not a how-to video. It's explaining how you can make this work in a semi-auto receiver. This is just a shell. I do not have a full auto trigger group. This group here is semi-auto only. As you can see, there's no trigger retarder in there. But if you want your G3 to look a little more badass, you can get one of these full auto trigger shells. Keep in mind this is just the shell. Putting this on the gun does not make it fully automatic in any way. This is just pretty much cosmetic looks. And there is another advantage too. If you look on your standard semi-auto, you only got one hole here. This is two to hold on. So your stock is not nearly as jiggly. It's not jiggly at all with this on. But this will take you, I'm pretty experienced with gunsmithing, so I could do this, but if you're not, you probably gonna not recommend you do this. When you pick up these shells, I got this at Sportsman's Guide for 30 bucks. As you can see here, okay, you'll notice a pinhole in the full auto. There's no pinhole in here. On here, there's this little lip. This is a piece welded on for a semi-auto only receiver. If this wasn't here, there'd be a hole drilled straight through there. In fact, you can kind of see the hole. It's been filled in. See right back there? There's the hole, but it's been filled in. That's what you do for a full auto, but the reason this is done is so you can't just simply drop in a full auto trigger group. Well, you'd need more than that to go full auto. You'd also need a full auto bolt carrier, because the bolt carrier, if you can see here, is fuck. Here, let me see. I could show you guys. Here, see this part where the screwdriver is? Hang on, I'm going in there. Like right here, this is milled out. So you'd have a trigger retarder. Ooh, there's a little bit of metal shavings in there. Your trigger, if you did just throw in a full auto trigger group, it wouldn't go full anyway, because the trigger retarder isn't activating the disconnector. But still, if you do buy a full auto trigger group, you're still violating NFA rules if you put it in your gun. I just bought the shell just to be on the safe side. So like I said, this has no trigger retarder in there, as you can clearly see. It's a semi-only trigger group. But what I had to do here to make this fit is when this comes, there's just a little square hole there. You have to file this down to the metal, cut the metal out right here, cut the metal out right there. File these even and measure so it, doesn't wobble. It's quite a process. It took me about 3 hours to do. Like I said, it's not something you should do if you're not experienced with gunsmithing. But it does make my G3 look really badass, and it goes really good at the Hellfire trigger. If you know what that is, that's a trigger manipulator. It is legal. I got the paperwork for it. It pretty much is fully automatic with the Hellfire trigger. It's just what it does is it pulls the trigger extremely fast, so the trigger's still being pulled each time for each shot. It's just really fast. Yeah, what I'm doing here is still compliant because this is still semi-automatic. Just keep that in mind. But it does make your G3 PTR91, HK91. Obviously it's not a G3, but because it's only semi-auto. But this is my PTR. It'll just look cool on it, so I figured, what the hell, might as well do it. And the stock isn't going to wobble as much. It doesn't wobble at all because you got another extra pinhole there. But if you guys got any questions about this, feel free to send me a message. As far as doing a how-to video, it took me 3 hours to do it. Filing, dremeling, and drilling, and all that other shit you had to do. And if you don't do it right, if you file too much, you just screwed yourself. But you guys got any questions or comments, feel free to send me a message. Spartan765 out.